Welcome to the Kay Willis Positive Vibes Podcast. Kay Willis Positive Vibes Talk Show on 1580thepraise.com, a Gold Chip communication station. And I have the honor to have Carlton Smith on the line. He is a Harlem-born singer, songwriter, producer, and actor known as Mr. Soul, who brings classic 1960s, 70s soul, and R&B into the modern era. Raised in Spanish Harlem by his mother, he was shaped by early experiences like seeing James Brown at the Apollo as a child and dropping out of college to pursue his music. His tattooed arms echo his devotion to legends like Ray Charles, Sam Cooke, and Al Green. Smith's career spans globe-trotting residencies in China, Europe, and the U.S. A breakthrough portrayal of James Brown in the film Liberty Heights, 1999, and standout recordings including 1634 Lexington Avenue in 2019, a warm homage to vintage soul. With his warm, emotive baritone and heartfelt authenticity, Carlton continues to keep New York soul alive on stages from Times Square to Tokyo, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. So thank you once again for coming on the show, and I appreciate it because I know you have a show coming up as we speak in a few minutes. So we're going to go ahead and just get into this interview, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much. It's such an honor.
Sister Willis, that was an amazing introduction. I damn near wept. Okay.
well, look, it's nothing but the truth, and it's your real life. So look at
Thank
God.
you so. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes, all the fruit, all the seeds sown, it's the harvest and everything. So come on now. Yes.
I always say, long live sweet soul music. It is truly the bridge that brought me over. You know, it really is.
Long live it.
Yeah. You know, I people often ask me, like, how did this all begin for me? And my father passed away one night in 1968, and my mother, my sister, and I were just devastated by that, and moping around the house for a couple of weeks. And then one night my mother's like, look, we got to get out. We got to go somewhere. We got to do something. She took us to the Apollo Theater. And, I mean, she'd taken us other places, like, you know, Circus or the Macy's Christmas Parade or whatever. But this is the first time she took us up to Harlem. And the streets were alive. The music was jumping, the energy. Me and my little sister, our minds were blown. She took us into the Apollo Theater, said we were going to see some guy named James Brown.
Ooh.
And Sister Willis, let me tell you, from the minute he walked out on stage, I was done. I still remember the seat I was sitting in. I was mesmerized. And it's almost cliched because you hear people say things like this in movies, but my life literally changed from that moment. I remember what he had on. I remember what he sang, what he said. It was amazing, you know, an amazing transformative experience. You know what I mean?
Wow. So the Harlem showtime at the Apollo. Come on now.
Yeah.
It's showtime at the Apollo. Yes.
Let me tell you something. I remember that TV show, but that TV show will never be what it was like going to the Apollo Theater in the 70s.
Wow.
Let me tell you something.
So how was it?
I have a list of every show I saw. I would go see my mother would give me $2 every Saturday. I'd owe $1 for a bag of donuts and $1 admission, and I'd go sit there in the front row and watch the same show over and over all day. Al Green, Shy-Lights, Bobby Womack, Temptations, the Curtis Mayfield, you name it, just the dramatics, the stylistics, Hal Melvin and the Blue Notes and Teddy Pendergrass. I would just watch these shows over, then I'd go home and write a review of the show that I just saw. How you doing? Okay. And write a review of the show that I just saw. So I still have all these notes in my 11 and 12-year-old handwriting, and I'm going to put them out there in a book one day because it's an amazing memory. It's phenomenal, you know, to have that. I wish I had a cell phone camera or something back then because those days will never be back, you know?
Yes. So let me ask you this. And once again, I love that you said your mom, you know, she wanted to get out of that. You guys were devastated. Sorry to hear about your father passing away at a young
he's okay.
age.
He's in a much better place. He's okay.
Come on now.
Yeah.
That part. Thank you, Father. And you're going to see him again. So thank you, Father, for that. Yes.
You're right.
But I love how she basically turned that devastation into something like we have to break out of this. We don't want to be in this slump forever. Let's go ahead and break it out. And as doing that, it was a breakout to a breakthrough for you. That's what it's
Totally.
given.
She would never know that I would. You have no way of knowing these things. This is what the universe does.
Yes.
That I would go on. It would become my life's passion. And now most people never even get to see their idols. I not only got to see mine, I got to hang out with them. I got to meet them so many times. And as you said, I got to portray them in the film. These are blessings that you can't plan on. This is the universe at work. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Look at that.
Let me. Can I say something else about that?
You sure can.
Here's the other thing about that made it so deep. This was 1968, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we prior to Martin Luther King being assassinated, we were always called Negroes or colored. Okay, and matter of fact, as you well know, back then, if you called another African American black, you would have had to fight in the street. So it was a rough time, and I was dark skinned. I still am.
Shout out to the darker,
you know what I'm saying?
People.
Exactly. So my mother was always teaching me, hey, look, you can't just be 100%. You got to be 110%.
Yes.
And there will be people who won't like you because of your complexion, because of your features, but you got to be proud of that. So it was a hard contradiction, and about that time, I had been hearing this guy on the radio with this record, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I've been hearing it. So when we went to the Apollo that night, and he came out on stage, that was the first thing he said. I was like, that's this guy? It all came to light. You know what I mean? It was an amazing experience. Like, it can't be recreated. You can't make this stuff up. You know what I mean?
Wow. So like full circle. Like you heard on the radio.
Yeah, totally.
Then all of a sudden.
No, but the full circle is getting to portray him.
That definitely is. Yes. That is the full circle. So.
Oh, yes.
So getting to portray him, we could talk about that. How was that? For one, how did you train for the role?
All my life as a kid, I used to always constantly, perform like him, dance to his records. But I had every record, every song, every album. I would always watch him on TV. It was just amazing. And here's the other thing about how you can't plan is how the universe does what it does. As I said, the first place my mother ever took me was to the Apollo Theater, pretty much to see James Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And that started a lifelong love affair with James Brown and going to see him and going to perform and run around after him. Many years later, it's September 9th, 1994, and he's about to perform at the Apollo that night. And a buddy of mine who worked at the Apollo said, hey, your man's going to be here. I know you're coming to see the show. I said, I don't know. He's so much older now. How you doing, sis? I said, he's so much older now. I may not, the shows aren't as good, and I don't want to taint the memories. He said, yeah, you say that all the time, but then you show up at the last minute, which is true. That's what I would do. I said, no. Something's going to happen tonight to keep me from coming to the show. I'm going to get a date with Halle Berry. Beyonce going to want to marry me tonight.
Come on. Yes.
Something's going to keep me from coming to the show. So that night, my mother passes away.
Oh,
okay?
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm devastated. So, I deal with it, and it's rough. A couple of years later, it's September 9th. It's the anniversary of it. I'm literally praying, saying, Mom, God bless you in heaven. I hope you're well. And my phone rings. And the guy says, Carlton, this is Harry Weinger from Universal Pictures. Could you play James Brown in the movie?
Oh!
I'm like, is this a joke? He said, no, we heard about the way you perform, your energy and the whole bit, and we're just wondering if it's something you could possibly do. I said, Lord have mercy, yes. So, now check this out. Okay, I hope this ain't too crazy for you, but this really happened.
It's crazy, no.
Okay, well, check out where it goes. So he says, look, by next Monday, we need a videotape of you lip-syncing these songs, so we know that you can lip-sync and do it well. I said, I'll have it to you by Monday. So I had a bow tie that James Brown gave me. I went and bought a wig, had a little tuxedo, and my buddy had a little camera out. So we filmed like me doing a concert. Now, this is taking place over a couple of days, and they keep calling me, hey, we didn't get the tape today. I said, look, you need it by Monday? I'll have it there Monday. Monday morning, I got on a plane with the tape done, flew to Los Angeles, and got a car to the production office on Rodeo Drive. Okay, here's my hand to God. As I pull up in front of the building, a white van pulls up right next to my car playing the James Brown song.
I said,
serious? I'm going to get this.
Yes.
I kid you not. You can't make this up. I said, I'm going to get this. And that's how it went from there. And I went on and did it. It was the easiest thing in the world to do because it was a blessing, and I'd been doing it my whole life. A year later, James Brown, after the movie was released, James Brown was at B.B. King's Club in Times Square. And I saw him backstage, and we're talking. I said, yeah, we not just did the movie. He said, man, that movie was out of sight. That thing y'all did down in Baltimore. First they showed me, then they showed you, then they showed me, then they showed you. And I realized he thought the faraway shots were him and the close-up shots were me. And I'm like, oh, Lord. I said, you know what, Mr. Brown, you're right. It wasn't both of us. It was an amazing, once-in-a-lifetime experience, an amazing experience, you know?
Wait a minute. We got to run that back. So September 9th.
I have a million stories like this, Kay.
Come on
really,
now.
I have a million stories like this.
So your mom passed away September 9th.
Yes.
A year exactly, September 9th, 1994. You get a phone call.
Yeah.
Would you play?
And a couple years later, on the anniversary, September 9th, I get a call from Harry Wanger, who works at Universal, was in charge of all the James Brown catalog, and said, hey, we heard about the way you perform. Because I was doing a lot of shows at B.B. King's Club and all around New York, and I just have a ball on stage. So he's like, hey, is it possible you could do it? I'm like, damn sure could.
Wow.
Once I realized it wasn't a joke, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you pulled up on Rodeo Drive, and the van next to you was playing James
Brown. A white van, I'll never forget it. Playing Try Me. And every time I leaned forward to see who was driving, the van would move up a little bit more. I kept leaning forward. It would keep moving up. I said, I'm not supposed to see who's driving that van, but this role is mine. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
So it's like your mom, too, had a hand in it.
All the way. I hear from her all the time.
It's like she's still there with you, you know?
I hear from her all the time. It's such a blessing. You know what I mean?
Oh,
yes.
Goodness.
I didn't mean to ramble over that story, but it's such a crazy experience. Okay.
No.
Right.
That's what this is for. This is for
to
encourage people, let people know that God works in mysterious ways, and it may not, like they said, He may not come when you want Him, but He gonna be right there on time. So it's just
when
confirmation.
He comes, right on time.
He is on time.
And hey,
God.
all your artists and creatives that are out there listening to the Kay Willis show, just bet on yourself, invest in yourself, believe in yourself. Finish that song, finish that screenplay, finish that bit of that idea that you're working on. Just work on it, keep going for it, because your blessings are waiting for you. They're literally waiting for you to arrive. So come on and show. Get off social media. Put your phone down. You know what I'm saying? And this is me included. It ain't like I'm perfect with it. And go on and do it as you have to do, what you were born and put here to do. You know, we're put here to do certain things.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, God put a vision and purpose in all of us, and we are here to do that. So at the tender age,
we get so distracted by day-to-day foolishness, you know?
Yes.
But I'm sorry, I don't mean to preach.
No. You're doing it right. But you are absolutely right, because we get distracted by day-to-day, just stuff that don't even matter, stuff that 5 years later is going to mean nothing. But
it won't matter trying to flex on social media for strangers, people that wouldn't give you a dime if you were being put out your house. Get off that phone and do what it is you're supposed to do, you know?
Come on now.
But I'm sorry, go ahead. Ask me some more questions. Ask me a million questions. Go ahead.
No, you good. Ahead. You good. That's what this is about. It's a conversation. You are so
I love
good.
It.
Yes. So we talked about James Brown. You mentioned that you have tatted Ray Charles, we mentioned that, Sam Cooke and Al Green. What influence do they have in your life as well?
Well, all these people, like there's certain people I have on my arms, and certain other artists you would think I would have, but I don't. These artists that I have on my arms, each of them have at least 2 songs that will either fill me with joy or will make me cry at the drop of a hat. There's that impactful. And they sort of took the place of, they became surrogate father figures.
Okay.
Because, because the music back then of the 60s and 70s, it taught me to have love and respect for myself, for my culture, for my family, for my women. They're not making music like that now. They're definitely making men like that anymore.
Come on,
so these men, they really meant, they're not. These men really meant so much to me, you know what I mean? And so many of them I saw and I met. So it was just, when I got, the first one I got was James. Well, no, the first tattoo I got was my mother's name. But then the next one was after I went to that office and gave them my audition tape, I went and got his name tattooed on my arm. And the guy said, you'll probably be back to get some more. And then I began to think of all the artists that meant so much to me. Mm-hmm. Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, Curtis Mayfield, Johnny Taylor, Joe Tex, all these people. These are the people I saw growing up. And their music and their records mean the world to me. Totally.
Now, you said they were like segregated fathers. And the
Yeah.
self-respect for the culture, let's get on that. Because as you mentioned,
Please.
there are not enough. It's like, it's very unfortunate that the generation coming up and, they don't have that good,
They don't know to have
they
that
don't know,
respect.
yeah,
They
they
don't
don't
know
know
to
how
have
to
that
have
respect
it.
for the culture. That's the main thing. I tour the world all the time. That's what I've been doing for the past 25 years. And when I come here, I tell people all the time, I don't know if we're allowed to say it, so I'll just say the N word.
Okay.
I say there's no other culture that uses an ethnic slur as a term of endearment. No other culture does that. We're the only ones that do that. And it's, how you doing? And it's embarrassing. It's a damn shame. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what we do and say all the time. And again, it's not like I'm not guilty of having said it myself, of course. But I would never say it publicly. I would never say it on a record.
Right.
It's a shame that has become a thing, and people always want to say, oh, if we say with an A and not an ER, it takes away. No, it doesn't take away any of this thing. And it doesn't take away any of the power of it. So it's just a shame that we've been tricked into thinking that it's okay to use that word, So we have no respect for ourselves. That's why other people don't respect us, You
are absolutely right. And like you said, it's a shame. And it's still, and we don't have respect for ourselves. But
no
once
other
again,
culture would do that.
No other culture. But it goes back to, like I said, the music. If we
Yeah,
had
yeah.
more Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, more of that type of music versus
Exactly.
the other stuff, and it's very unfortunate. What do you think that we can do to help push more of the things to help the community versus what's out there now? Because there are some good artists, however, they don't get uplifted as the ones that's putting everything down.
And they won't be uplifted. You know why? Because it's too. At one point, there was very positive rap.
Yes.
Leaders of the New School, Tribe Called Quest, X-Clan. There was a lot of intelligent rap, and they made sure gangster rap got pushed to the forefront because it's easier to control people when acting ignorant and acting stupid. And then they're more likely to get in trouble, which leads to them being put in jails, and then it's a whole other thing. I don't mean to get too deep on your program, but there's a lot we can do. But no matter what, as hard as we try to do the right thing, whatever forces there are that are against us, they're gonna work just as hard to make sure we remain ignorant and dumb. It's a shame.
It's a shame.
It's a shame. So all we can do individually, parents, do your best to teach your children the right way.
That's good.
And it's hard because the temptation through social media and the internet is unbelievable. There's access to things that we would have had to go to the library back in the day.
Come on now.
We would have never imagined it. Now they can find anything out the drop of a hat. Kids don't even go outside anymore. You know what I mean? So all we can do is we can do our absolute best, and we can try to teach them our history and culture. But they have to want to learn it. You know what I mean? They have to want to know these things.
I love that. So basically,
Yeah.
It starts at home.
And yes, it does.
Yes.
I started teaching my daughter about our music, and as a result of our music, she would get into the Nikki Giovanni's, and she'd learn more about the positive aspect because she listens to some of that foolishness. But I said, as long as you know that's not the right way, she says, "Daddy, I just love the beat." But I started early on teaching her all about who the heroes of our culture are. Matter of fact, look here, we had a thing in which I told her, if your mother or I can't come get you from school, we will send someone to get you. But they're going to ask you a trick question. Not what is your name or what is your address, because anybody can figure that out.
Right.
They're going to ask you to name all the original members of the Temptations. And now, if they don't ask you that, we didn't send them. And I said, if you don't answer correctly, I tell them leave you there because you ain't my daughter. To this day, you can wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. She can name the original Temptations. You know what I mean? We have to teach them about our culture because they don't know. I go to all these other countries. These kids in Japan and England and Russia, they know more about our culture and our musicians than we do. You could ask some of these kids nowadays, how many people in the Four Tops? They couldn't tell you. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't tell you how many people in the Four Tops. Okay, we got and the shame of it all. And if you look on social media, and here's something else that I detest. You always see on social media, Frankie Beverly, the Gap Band, Boosie's Rubber Band, Earth to the Fire. One has to go. I said, why does one have to go? None of them have to go. We need all the music. We need everything that they all bring to us. I said, you never see other cultures do that. You don't see nobody saying the Rolling Stones, Kiss, Billy Joel, Elton John, one has to go. We are always disrespecting ourselves and disrespecting our own. That's the negative thing that we keep perpetuating all the time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're always just going. Black comedians and black artists always beefing with each other, and it's like, for what? Y'all all making money.
Right.
Y'all all making good money. What are y'all so angry about? That's what I don't understand. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. We're always. I mean, it's unfortunate. You know, hopefully change will come.
You don't see Jerry Seinfeld going at David Letterman.
No,
you don't see that.
Never.
And you won't see that. But we always got to beef and talk bad about the next man and it's heartbreaking. It really is, you know. And those images will continue to be perpetuated. It'll keep on going. It's what I lived in China for 10 years in Shanghai, China. Yeah, they hired me to do one show, and then they just kept hiring me. And then I would go other places in the world from China. I'd meet people in the club. We have a club in Russia, in Norway, in Switzerland, where you come. So I travel the world all the time. In China, those Jordans and them Louis Vuitton bags and all of that, that stuff costs $5 and $10. Do you hear me? It costs them $10 to make that, and they sell it to us for $300 and $400. We waiting in line all night and killing each other for some sneakers. It's a game that's run on us. And again, I'm not trying to be too deep on your program. We want to keep it light about music, but if somebody gets something from this, then my work is done. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, we need to, and it's we are talking about music still, but it's also the change that needs to take place, and the stuff that, as we mentioned, since they ain't talking about it, let's go ahead and talk about it. Put that energy out there. You know that it needs to be talked about, because we need to do better as a people.
We really do.
Yes, and to help.
We become so consumed and concerned with the wrong things. Meanwhile, other things are passing us by. These people downtown going berserk, squirting baby oil on each other because Diddy got free. It's like, come on, how could you do that?
Yeah, that was crazy.
And what I try to tell these youngsters, what they don't understand, the internet is forever. These images and y'all showing your body, this and the other, this stuff will follow you for the rest of your life as you get older and you try to get a husband or have children. These things are going to follow you for the rest of your life, so you got to be careful what you put out there.
You
know
better
what I mean?
say that. I love these things gonna follow you for the rest of your life. Now I love that you say that, because they call me Sister K, Mama K, Grandma, and just because I'm the same way. Because I'm like,
and ain't nothing wrong with that, because they ain't thought about it. You think you being cute, showing your little behind, blah 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 for clicks and likes, but 20 years from now, you trying to get a job, that interview that's gonna come up.
It's
you know what I'm saying?
Up.
Or you're trying to get a husband, or your kid's going to be in school and be embarrassed because the pictures of their grandmother and came out like that. Be mindful of what you put out there.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's the kids going to be embarrassed for me.
Ask me a music okay. Ask me a music question. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So your album, 1634 Lexington Avenue, is named after your childhood home. So what inspired you to do that?
In 1977, 76, 77, I was attending Julia Richmond High School and had a part-time job at Arista Records. Same year, my grandparents were passing away, and my mother decided she was going to move down south to take care of them. I'm like, Ma, I do not want to live in the South. But what am I going to do, Carlton? Me and your sister, she's going to go. I said, Ma, you can leave me here in New York. You know I don't do nothing. I don't do nothing but go to the Apollo Theater to see music and try to fool around with a bunch of little girls. Same as it is now.
Right.
You know. So at the age of 16, going on to 17, I was living by myself in a 3-bedroom apartment.
What?
At 1634 Lexington. Look, rent was $100. Can you believe that?
Let's go back to that.
You know what I'm saying? 103rd in Lexington, the heart of Spanish Harlem, El Barrio. And I learned so much about life and people, and I literally grew up there. So that's why I named the album 1634 Lexington.
So, let's go back. You were 16 going on 17. You told your mom, I'm not going down south. So your mom and your sister eventually went, right?
But, because they had to take care of my parents. But she knew enough. She knew she'd raised me well. Like it says, bring up a child in the way he shall go, and he shall not depart. She knew she raised me well enough that I could be there by myself. And again, I've never been drunk. I don't drink, not even beer or wine. I've never liked it. Never smoked. Never. I mean, we all experimented with little stuff at the school, but that was just never my thing. My problem has always been I will eat all the Pop-Tarts in your house. My thing is sweet. You know what I'm saying? So my mother was never worried about me getting in no trouble. All I wanted to do was put on some fancy clothes and talk to some girls and go see somebody perform and sing. Same as it is now, So she trusted me, and even though the family thought she was crazy, I never let her down. I never embarrassed her, and it worked out wonderfully.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And then you said it's
I'm gonna
only
buy that
100
building
something.
one day.
Oh, yes. We're going to speak that. You're going to buy that building one day.
And you know what I'm
1634.
gonna do? I'm gonna turn it into a museum because I still have every concert poster, every concert program, every ticket stub, every autograph for every show I've ever been. I have so much memorabilia. That's why I sent you. If you look at some of the pictures I sent you, you'll see me holding a poster with the artist because I usually get them to sign it. I've got a million stories about that stuff. So I still have all that memorabilia, and I want to do a display and an exhibit, because that stuff doesn't exist anymore.
Right, right. Wow. Yeah, well, we need 1634 Lexington Avenue. We need to know who own that right now because it needs to be in your hand.
Existence. Yes, I'm trying to get a little display going now. I'm going to get that happen somewhere, but eventually the long-term goal is to have that building. I was telling my daughter. Wait, what's I giving? I mentioned that. I was going to tell you about the ticket stubs. I have tickets. When my daughter came to me a couple of years ago and said, Dad, can I have $1,000? I want to go see Beyonce. And she's a great kid doing wonderful in school. So, I had to do it. But I'm like, I just need you to know something. Nobody's worth $1,000, okay? I just need you to know that. She came back about a week or so later and said, forget it, Daddy. The seats are all the way upstairs. Because I understand the passage of time, but I still have my first ticket stub for Prince. It was $7
Come on,
in 1980.
Prince, $7.
Okay?
Come
$7.
on. And
yeah, so it's like, ain't nobody worth it. What these kids have to pay for concert tickets nowadays is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And people not paying their mortgage and their rent to go to a
ain't
concert.
That crazy?
And I want it. And they're going to have it online.
$1,000.
It's going to be online.
Yeah.
You're going to watch the whole concert online. Now, if you get
For
some free
free.
tickets, it's ways you could volunteer and get some free
Yeah.
tickets. Maybe that's the way. But
$1,000. No, Beyonce got to come sing that in my kitchen.
Come on
for
now.
a week.
For a week.
And make pancakes.
Come on
Paying
now.
$1,000 to see nobody.
I
Are
ain't
you
paying
kidding me?
$1,000 either. You good, but you ain't that good.
no, ain't nothing. Seriously, nobody's worth that. But I have all this memorabilia, and the thing about this, what I'm so proud about it, is we as other cultures, they'll find their grandfather's baseball collection or stamp collection, put it together,
right.
and auction it off for $1 million. We be throwing things out. You know what I'm saying? Throwing things away. It's like, no, we got to keep these things. We got to hold on to our heritage. So I've collected all this stuff, and I plan to have it forever. You know what I mean?
Right,
pass it on to my daughter and her grandchildren, and just make sure. Yeah.
It's
that it goes
generational wealth.
into history.
Yes.
Exactly.
Come on now.
Exactly.
Now we're
Okay,
going to talk more
more
about
music
this. We're going
questions.
to talk about more on part 2. We definitely are. But how can we reach you?
On Instagram, Carlton J. Smith Official. On Facebook, Carlton Jumel Smith. My YouTube channel, Mr. Carlton J. Smith. And I'm gonna start a couple of other pages that will just have all my memorabilia on it. Who's your favorite artist of all time?
My favorite artist, I like Babyface. I like Mariah Carey, CeCe Winans,
Okay.
Marvin Sapp, and then right now, my Pastor Mike Jr. McClure. I listen to him every day. He's becoming one of my favorite artists.
Okay, I gotta. Oh yeah, I'm doing an interview right now. Okay, no, I don't have much memorabilia on Mariah Carey, but I got some early Babyface stuff.
Okay, Babyface.
Yes.
Yeah. I love Babyface.
Do you know the first band he was in? Do you know the first band that he was in?
Was it The Time? Not The Time.
No. You're thinking of Morris Day.
The Real.
The Deal.
What's the Deal? Okay.
But there were two
I
bands he was in before that.
On two occasions.
On two occasions.
That's dead.
But no, there was another band he was in before that. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I had the album. You wouldn't even know it was Babyface unless I showed it to you.
Oh, wow.
I'll send you a picture of it. Yeah.
Definitely. Send me a picture. And then for me, you guys could catch me. If you want to be a sponsor, just email me at Kay Willis, Positive Vibes Talk Show at gmail.com. But it's Kay Willis with the Kay Willis Positive Vibes Talk Show on 1580thepraise.com, a Gold Chip communication station. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Kay Willis Positive Vibes podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the Kay Willis Positive Vibes podcast. please order my book, The Principles of Overcoming Life's Obstacles, a 31-day journey to positive living, available on Amazon.com. Until next time, stay positive.